Hello everyone and welcome to Moonride, where we're channeling the man in the moon. One note about tomorrow: I generally hold a live reading. That would be Tuesday night in most parts of the United States. But tomorrow I'm actually having my internet fixed. Of course, it coincides perfectly with when I have my time with you. So if it is late or delayed or a little bit wonky, just be advised that's because we are fixing up the internet. Just FYI about Australia, the internet does not work particularly well. Rupert Murdoch is pretty much responsible for that, just as he's responsible for Fox News. So you can see why they won't work so well unless you push it. Okay, so today I'm just going to do reading. I know that Mueller keeps coming up. I'm sure Trump will come up too. I think we should start with Mueller first and see if we have any more information about him this week before he testifies. Okay, Mr. Mueller has a plan. He keeps pointing to his head. And it's funny, I always see them in the same room. There's Mueller and then there's Barr. Barr's behind a desk, Mueller's next to the fireplace. It's an office, but it looks like it could be from, 1840 or something. It's very elegant with a view of the Washington Monument. But, I always see Mueller standing up and sort of more active, always by the fire. And he's in that room too with Barr. And I just have a feeling that Mueller's just anticipated Barr's behavior, or at least he thought it might happen, or maybe he's even reacting to the way Barr is trying to cover things up. Okay, so I have no idea what this image is. It's a guy with a missing tooth, and the tooth is being filled. Ah, he's filling a gap. Okay, so yeah, I'm guessing that Mueller's filling in some gaps. Maybe even more than one. Missing knowledge. It's just a gap between two things that he is letting us know about. Tell me more, Mr. Mueller. And it comes down to the meaning of the flag. If you've seen some past channels on Barr and Mueller, I kind of had the idea that Barr was being patriotic when he was looking towards this flag. I kind of now recognize it's my own feelings about America and not Barr's, so that was a perfect example of my misunderstanding what Spirit is showing me. Sometimes Spirit shows me something and it's about my feelings about that, not about the person I am seeing. And it's a very similar sort of experience. Again, there's this flag, but it has a kind of meaning of the deeper meaning of what that flag means. That is what we're all dealing with right now. What's the meaning of being an American? What's the meaning of our Constitution? What's the meaning of our lives? Is it just a capitalist society that's all we care about is money? Or is there something more to this? That flag to me represents something deeper about equality and freedom, and realize that this is just a possibility. It's not a certainty. As many people will tell you, they did not get just treatment for the United States, but it occasionally happens. Remember, this is very important that we are fighting to put meaning into that flag, and Mueller seems to get it. And I see him being clever and calculating. Spirit, can you tell us something about what is Mueller going to say? People will be surprised, as I've seen before. They will be surprised. It's not going to be, as some networks are saying, just a reiteration of old facts. There will be that, but there will also be surprising things that kind of set people off guard. They're not really prepared for what he says. That's what I see as people looking shocked. So they're not really prepared. I get that they will not necessarily have the right questions available to ask in lieu of what he tells them. Okay, lots of cameras. There'll be plenty to report on. And again, it just feels like it's a bit beyond what we expect, that this really will be news. It will not just be regurgitation of stuff we've already heard or spin. There will be real information here that we don't know about. That's my feeling. And it will happen, I think, fairly close to the beginning. I see reporters run out of that room and go and talk on the television right away. They're quite captivated by what he has said. And I also get this sort of, you know how Julius Caesar would wear this laurel crown across his head? I see Mueller taking this crown and like holding it in his hand. And it's almost like saying, we will not have a Caesar. That is not what we represent. We will not have a king. So anything specific, Spirit? What's he going to say? He's really going to poke holes in some stuff. I see Zorro, you know, with his sword kind of cutting holes in things. We might find a closer connection to Putin than we expect. I see Mueller pulling some paperwork out of his pocket. And it feels like a surprise, like they didn't expect him to do that. It might be his opening speech. He looks like he's giving a speech right now. And, you know, I see lots of, you know, blonde Fox News anchors looking like horrified at what he said, like jaws dropped in surprise at what he has said. Spirit, is Mueller going to make some direct connection to Putin, or is it direct or indirect? I don't see it being direct, but it seems like it's indirect. Might have something to do with Hope Hicks. Her face comes up. It feels like a bunch of people are connected in this. Tell me more, Spirit. What will Mueller say? What will be the most interesting thing that he says? I see him making connections that were not made before between certain sets of people. So again, I see sort of a triangle. I see, you know, again, that triangle in the last couple months, it's meant nothing but those, you know, perfect connections, like completion. You might think of a pyramid as like the finished, you know, ultimate object somehow. This triangle seems to be propped back up, and it's almost like one bottom portion of the triangle is the connections between Trump and Putin, the Russians, whoever did it. And I kind of feel that part of it has to do with the lack of evidence. So many people were surprised because Trump did not really answer the questions that he was given. And also, people destroyed evidence. So when Mueller went to find it, they had deleted these emails, which was pretty suspicious. I mean, that was the connection, and they destroyed that evidence. So, you know, it's pretty obvious why you destroy evidence, right? I mean, you don't destroy it if you're innocent. So he seems to be talking about that sort of lack of evidence. It's like, almost like Trump's there, he's at the cafe, he's got what he wants, and somebody comes and says, "Who's that guy you're talking to?" And he goes, "You know, what guy?" Right? So that seems to be a lot more problematic for him. Okay, there he is at the cafe, and, you know, people are talking about like talking to the police about that guy sitting there. So it seems to be catching up to him. And who is the little kid? He's a little kid. There's a little child on a toy. And the child is like, it's almost like those little fake, kids. In my day, it would have been a big wheel, but it's like a four-wheeled little wagon that a kid rides. And the kid is there next to the police department. And I just have the feeling of sort of a random, innocent, event, or something happens that's almost like a childish thing, unexpected. Yeah, don't be surprised if some innocent is involved in here just by accident, or maybe they inadvertently show up. Some kind of innocent person. That's what I get with this child. There's some money involved. I see lots of coins. And Mueller's almost looking at this sort of like stock ticker and looking very suspicious about it. And he's looking at money. It might be that Mueller makes some financial connections that we haven't made yet, or pointed them out. Mueller seems very determined, and he seems angry. Now, Spirit, who is he angry at, and why? He appears to me to be angry at Trump and Barr. Do not believe this nonsense that says, oh, Mueller doesn't want to testify. He's only going to stay in the corners of his report. Well, that's what they're telling us. Mueller is required to look objective, right? So he's required to wait for a subpoena. He should not look like he's eager to do it because people will say that he is political. He is supposed to be required to do this and appear at least to be reluctant. And that's the case in some ways, that he'd rather the report spoke for itself. He doesn't want this role. But that does not mean that he will not expand on the truth. I get this, that he really pictures that, Barr and Trump are pulling a fast one. I see them in either corner. He thinks they're working together, pulling a fast one, and he's not happy about this. He's not happy about how this will serve his legacy, and I think there is also in his heart a true patriotic feeling of what's right and wrong. And I think that he is having regrets that he let it go on as long as he did, that he was not more aggressive, because he was trying to go by the book, but and that's not wrong. But his work was manipulated. He's also angry because his people are now being investigated as if they are the criminals. That is, the people who worked for him. Okay, anything else about Mueller? Again, I think I saw this before. He's opening a can, and it just has a feeling like a can of worms. It's also could be like that tomato soup. You open the can and you put it, and then you mix in some milk. So it's almost like the substance to what we are talking about. He's going to pour out some substance, and it may take a little while to mix in, but once we get there, then it will be a real bowl of soup here. It's quite funny because now Trump seems to be kind of drowning in this tomato soup, and Barr is going after him to rescue him, and he's not doing very well. They will take each other down. Yeah, don't be surprised too if Trump turns on Barr and makes it all his fault. Okay, I do feel very optimistic that this will be an important step in putting Trump in jail. That's what I see at the bottom of the bowl of the soup, is Trump in jail. Not able to leave an enclosed space. And Barr might be joining him. I get 3 years. Now, 3 years might just be the time that it takes to criminalize this. This does not necessarily mean that we will win at the ballot box. He could still become president. I don't see this, but it's possible that it will just take this long to really pan this stuff out and put him in jail. Now, that appears to be that he will not win because we can't indict a sitting president, right? So I'm open about this. I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm not ready to ask yet, but I do feel very confident that he will eventually, this will come to its conclusion, and the conclusion will be Trump in jail. Mm. Yeah. I also get Trump like reaching out for a lifeline and trying to hang on to something. He doesn't have much to hang on to. There's not much. All right. And okay, Spirit. Let's ask also about the economy because I'm very concerned about this myself, mostly for Americans. What about the economy? The economy is very tilted. This is nothing new, I think, but it's very tilted towards the uber super rich. So if you want to think again of triangles, there's the isosceles triangle, I think it is. One has a really long side, and then there's two short sides. Yeah, guess who's getting the really long side? The plateau of cash in their pockets. A certain group of people. And it's crushing the triangle. It won't work forever. It's crushing everyone. Yeah, I do get major economic problems, something of a collapse. Hmm. Okay, Spirit, tell me more. Is there a collapse imminent? I get a series of problems in the economy, like down, up, down, up, down, up, but they keep getting a bit lower each time. And then there seems to be some major time where it really crashes. This may not happen until next September. That's just a time that came to my mind. Okay. Spirit, what should people do with their money? How can they be prepared? Yeah, to some degree, you want to save your money, put it in safe places. Just wait and watch for the most part. Don't go on some crazy expenditure. That would be one thing to do. Do simple vacations, go camping, just simple stuff. And some people will emerge well out of this situation. Some people will be, because of this situation, they'll be starting new businesses and stuff like that. If you see an opening like this, don't bet the family farm on it. But if it's some kind of inexpensive way to make more money, now's the time because these are good times and they will not always be good. If it's available to you now, take a second job. Maybe you could drive for Uber at night or something like this. Again, this will not be available to you for so long in the future, but if you collect this money now, you will be prepared and you'll be that person who has money during a recession, which is always a nice thing. Right? And I feel like this recession will not last so long. I do see recession. I do see a major dip in the economy, but it won't be. It'll be easily fixable when you have the right person in office. It will be difficult for Trump to fix because, again, he has no way of. He has no friends abroad except for sort of criminal institutions. So he's not going to go make a deal with China overnight. They're certainly not happy with him, and they will be glad to see him struggle. They'll be glad to see him replaced. So keep in mind that China has a lot of power here, and most countries are not sympathetic to the United States' crisis. Anything else about the economy? Yeah, save your money. Be careful. Be observant. Again, you could start a new business now, but don't start a new business that's going to only take off in September, right? Or at least don't start one that costs a lot of money. There are new businesses that you can start that cost virtually nothing. Those are good things to start. Just be very aware. Keep your eyes very much open in the near term to see where things might be heading. Make mixed investments if you have the money to do that. Uh, you know, yeah, watch your money carefully. That's what I get out of that. So next one was just Trump in general. What can we expect from Trump? I see the usual hostility. It looks like he's going to go on the attack with the fabulous squad of four, what he perceives as the super lefties. He's going to go after those guys again. He's going to try to vilify them again. And I feel like people are going to get bored of it. He successfully did that against Hillary Clinton, but she was different. She had a past. She had this history. People just didn't like the fact that she wouldn't leave Bill Clinton. They found her kind of conniving. There's some truth to that. But these four people are not conniving. They are who they are. They've done nothing wrong. If anything, they're more honest, I think, than the average politician. So this is just not a really good strategy for him. Every time he highlights them, they kind of move up a little bit and become more important in the party. I think to some degree that's what Trump wants, because he wants to divide the party. But I don't think that it will be so divisive. It's really giving them all a chance to step forward. Again, this is not all bad. In some ways, the fact that he has attacked them has given them a place to come up and respond to these attacks and say, no, enough, that's not right. And people are listening to them, maybe people who wouldn't have noticed them in another situation. And you notice it's so symbolic. Here is a man, a rich white guy from New York, attacking four, younger women, all of them sort of, from different aspects of our cultural background, and somehow, it's just not a fair fight in terms of power. He appears a little bit childish and bullying, but I know all of us know that, but it seems like it's the same childhood taunt over and over again for these people. And they're showing their strength in the way that they react to him. Anything else we get out of Trump? Well, I often see Melania leaving, and I don't know if she's already left. Maybe she's left in her mind already, or maybe she sleeps in another room or something. But again, I see her turning and leaving, and I see his son, the youngest one, also turning and leaving with her. Yeah, I think there's a lot going on with his family life right now. They're having a lot of problems among themselves. And he's starting it. He's causing them to fight among each other. Anything else on Donald? So Donald is here with a sword. He stabs someone and there's blood on it. So he causes some harm and it's obvious. I think it may have something to do with the squad. Maybe there's greater threats to them. maybe because of his attacks on the squad, it has some negative social impact within our society. But it's like there's blood on the sword and he can't get rid of it. No matter how many times he wipes the sword off, the blood just comes right back. So Spirit, if we're, should we be worried? Are we going to be attacked? So Trump is in a plane. He's far away when something happens. He's way, way out in space, in his plane, and looking down at the United States. So he's just not really aware of what's going on the ground so much. I think the attack might be symbolic. It's not necessarily even a physical attack. The blood on his sword is more of I see a book, which just makes me think it's more symbolic or more in writing or more spoken word. These attacks, I don't know if it's going to be actually anybody harming anyone in the body. Spirit, why is Trump in a plane? Why do I keep seeing him in an airplane? Now he's trying to fly and drop bombs. But he's not so good at it. He's just another, psycho madman with a flying license. But he looks quite mad. He looks like he's done totally insane. So one thing to notice is the way Trump is going about this kind of manic, crazy thing, that's worked for him before. But I get the feeling that he'll just pump it up and he'll just try to do more and more and more. No matter how unsuccessful it is, he'll just keep trying and trying. He doesn't have any other way to go except doubling down. There are no policies that he has ahead of him. If you think about this, there are virtually no policies out of the White House. We don't know what their intentions are in any regard for anything at all. So he really doesn't have any of these, issues. He has attack, and he doesn't know what else to do. So once he gets started, he'll just go in a sort of frenzy of attack, a sort of downhill frenzy. And it will gain less and less support. It'll especially gain less support when the economy has problems. Those numbers are sometimes 41%. I think that's the average of approval rating. Watch them go down. They'll go down a lot. I'm saying first they go down to 30, maybe even 25, 26. To me, this means economic problems, because those supporters are real supporters many of the times. But they'll change their mind once they don't have any money. Okay, this is a crazy image. Trump takes his sword and he sticks it right in the moon, all right? I have strong feelings about this. He sticks it in the moon. He takes it and he almost eats it like it's food on a stick. But then he gets sick and spits it all out. And it comes back together as a moon. Understand that Trump is a disruption. He is a disruptor. He is the kind of person who makes you think about what's important and what's not important and to act. It's all very well and good to say, oh, I care about other people. It's all well and good to say, oh, I care about minorities. It's all well and good to say, I love America. That's great and easy. But when it comes to a choice that you have to make where you support liberty or you don't, this is what's happening right now. We're all being given an opportunity to show how we believe, what we think, and to show up as real Americans, and I should say real patriots, or just real humans for this race of people. This is the chance for us to step up and let the world know who we are. Again, it's really going to require action on a lot of people's part. I would say on everybody's part. It's not simply enough just to choose that. You have to go prove it now. And this is a new thing. And ultimately, it's a good thing. Thanks for watching.